In this video, I'm going to show you the fastest way to get up to Renown 20 with the new faction coming 11.1.0, the Cartels of Undermine. On the screen here, you can see all the different ways that you can pick up Renown with this faction, and I'm going to go through these all one by one. We have, of course, the one-time sources, the weekly sources, and the daily sources as well. So I'll show all of these to make sure you guys are not missing any of that Renown from week to week. Before we jump into that though, I'd also like to mention that there is also some reputation tracks separate to this Renown track, but ones that you're going to earn as you do the main Renown tracks activities as well. And that's the 4 different cartels. I've got them popping up on screen here showing where to find their quartermaster as well. And basically you're going to align with one of these per week, and you're going to get a lot more reputation with that faction or with that cartel each week. These work on a more traditional reputation track from friendly to exalted, and so you're going to kind of mainly choose one at a time to level up fastest. And at the end of the video, I will talk about where you're going to get all of this reputation as well. It's mainly shared with the Renown track, but there's a few that are not as well. Also, although this video is a little bit late coming out, I did want to get it out a bit earlier, but hopefully it does still come out in week 1 of the patch. And that means that the Darkmoon Faire is coming on this Sunday. So that means that you can get a 10% increase buff to all reputation and renown gains. And so what I would really recommend doing, if you haven't completed too much already, is basically to wait until this buff becomes available and then use this buff when completing particularly all the one-time sources that we'll talk about. Because yeah, that's gonna give you the biggest boost really. So once you have that Darkmoon Faire buff, which the easiest way to get that is going to be using the Darkmoon Faire top hats, which you can pick up and you can have those in your inventory. If you die, you can just use another one again to make sure you're never missing out on that buff, because if you have to keep going back to the Darkmoon Faire to pick it up again, it can get quite tedious. But no matter how much you guys have done already, I would just recommend trying to pick this up when you can and doing the rest of the reputation stuff. So let's jump into the one-time sources first of all. Starting things off, we have the first icon, the main story quest line. Very similar to the main storyline of each zone that we had in 11.0. This one is going to award a total of 7,500 renown or 3 renown levels. The final quest for this one is to finish the new raid, the Liberation of Undermine, which is coming next week, but you can do that with the story mode version as well. Nice. Okay, and on to the next one, we have the Sojourner side quest. Now, I've broken the side quests up a bit in this video, as there is kind of some separate ones that are one-time sources. These ones are the ones that are going to get you that Sojourner of Undermine achievement, and a bit different to the previous side quests from 11.0, the ones in Undermine are going to award between 100 and 200 reputation upon completion. The current amount total is 1,600, but there is one chain that wasn't available on the PTR when I was testing it, and it may award another 100 or 200 on top of that. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with that one. On screen here, I have the starting point for all the quest chains with their starting quest name and which achievement criteria it is attached to. So that should allow you to look at your Sojourner of Undermine achievement and check which ones you don't have yet, and then find out where they start. Most of these should show up on your world map, but there was a few that I had to go and hunt for. Nice. And then the other side quests as well, we have these 3 other side quests which you pick up in the Incontinental Hotel. These are to complete the 2 new delves and also the new dungeon coming with the patch. They award a total of 1,500 with 500 coming from each quest. So grab all these and then go and complete them. Basically just complete one of the both the delves and then Operation Floodgate dungeon as well. A follower dungeon should work for that too. Great, and that's it for our one-time sources, not too many of those, and then we're on to our weekly sources. The main way that we're going to get all the renown for this faction. There are 3 weekly quests or main weekly quests. You will get the bulk of your renown from each week. They total 3,000 renown and involve you completing the various new world events and activities in Undermine. You can pick them all up from the Incontinental Hotel in central Undermine. The first one is Many Jobs, Handle It. For this one, you need to complete 10 shipping and handling jobs. And the way that you access these jobs is when you're in that G99 Breakneck, that new car, you press number 5 or use the Start Job button, and you will get an arrow above your head in your car, and you just drive over there and complete that objective. You need to just do that 10 times. It's basically just a world quest that you just need to drive to. And once you've done that 10 times, you'll get that quest complete. The next one is called Urge to Surge. Also part of the shipping and handling. Basically, you need to complete some shipping and handling jobs, or like max out the bar, I believe, maybe, during surge pricing when that is available. And this appears to be for 10 minutes every hour on the half hour. And yeah, basically you just need to complete enough shipping and handling jobs during that 10 minutes and you'll get this quest complete as well. The final quest is Reduce, Reuse, and Resell. And for this one, you need to complete 3 scrap jobs. This event pops up around the map and is the kind of trash icon that I've got on screen here. And you need to travel to the location and complete the event by digging through the trash and fighting off enemies, dodging some things, doing things like that, the usual. Do this 3 times, and this one is done too. In total, 3,000 extra renown after these quests are done. And then onto our next one, we have the side gigs. These quests change week to week, but essentially you pick them up over here on the map where the rockets will take you to the Ringing Deeps, that new zone in the Ringing Deeps, or to the Kaja Coast in Zuldazar. They seem to award about 200 renown per week, and you can pick them all up and complete the quests in that new area I spoke about in the Ringing Deeps or over on the Kaja Coast. The dungeon quest, this one is exactly the same as it has always been, but they have now added Cartels of Undermine to the options you can choose as well. 1500 renown after completing whichever dungeon the quest asks you to do. And remember, you can also use follower dungeons for this one as well if you want to avoid any interaction with other people. The next weekly renown will come from the 5 rare elites around the zone. Each one gives 50 renown, coming to a total of 250 renown per week. And you can see them all on the map here. And there was only ever seems to be one of those up at time when I was testing on PTR, and then the next one seems to spawn after the last one was killed, and it didn't seem like a particularly long respawn timer, but I really don't have 100% like data on this. I'm just guessing a little bit, so I'm not sure exactly, but I'm sure we'll find out with the time spent in Undermine. And then the next one, a little bit different. We have another type of rare, which is unlocked at Renown 6 with that big game hunter unlock. And this is involves activation by someone aligned with that cartel for the week. So for example, if you pick Bilgewater for the week, you need someone from Venture Co. To activate that one, so you can get credit for it as well. They do appear on the world maps when someone has activated the rares, so then you can head over and do them. I've only seen the Bilgewater one so far, but it basically involved a short world quest bar filling activity, and then the rare spawned. There are 4 of these in total, 1 for each cartel. You can see the locations on the map here, and they give a total of 400 renown weekly, and they will also reward reputation with the faction that they are associated with as well. With the cartel, that they're associated with. Next onto the world quests, exactly the same as usual, just keep completing them from day to day to get all the possible renown available. If you can't see your world quest, make sure you have aligned with the cartel in that main hotel building, and this isn't an exact amount, but it should be around 1500 to 1700 if you get all of these completed through the week. Then on top of those, we have also got the contract, the usual, which is made by a scribe and you can pick up on the auction house. This will give you 15 extra renown for every world quest you complete, including all the ones in Khazalgar, not just the ones in Undermine. And this is going to be kind of the real min-max. It's going to take a lot of time for not loads of renown. And I'd estimate you could probably pick up around 800 and 900 renown if you complete every world quest around Khazalgar and Undermine with this contract active. They'll probably start off very expensive and gradually get a lot cheaper as the patch goes on, so you can always pick one up later if you're still lacking a bit of renown. Our next one is the special assignments, exactly the same as previous special assignments, but on the PTR it seemed as if this was kind of always up in the Undermine each week. I don't know if that was just a PTR thing. Of course, in 11.0 it switched between 2 zones each week, but on the PTR it seemed like it was in Undermine every single week, and this seems to award the usual 200 extra renown per week after you completed, I think it's 4 world quests in the zone, and then it becomes available. Okay, and then on to our final weekly source, we have the Bountiful Coffers. This one is currently unconfirmed, but I can't imagine it would have been removed as it was ongoing through the whole of 11.0, and if people still need the other factions' renowns, it wouldn't really be fair to them. The way it normally works is 1,000 renown per faction randomly in a tier 8 Bountiful Coffer which you can open with a Bountiful Coffer key at the end of the delve. The amount of renown also seems to correlate with the delve level, so make sure it's tier 8 or higher if you're looking for this one. I wonder if this is going to start with Season 2's launch next week, if that's when it becomes available. I can't remember from 11.0 if it was available before the season started. Maybe not, so maybe that's going to come next week rather than this week, but I imagine it must be in there still. So, and then a slight change to previous Renown factions which didn't have any daily sources. We have some daily sources with the Cartels of Undermine, or one of them at least. And that source are the rares. So in Undermine, all of the normal rares are on a daily lockout and are worth 20 renown each. This means that you can get 220 renown per day and 1,540 per week if you kill all 11 rares each day for the whole week. You can see where they all spawn on the map here, and let's hope the respawn time of these isn't too long, as there'll be so many people killing them when the patch is launched, or right now in fact, when you watch this video. On the PTR, most of these were up all the time, but that might just be due to a lack of players, but let's hope that it is really short respawn timers. So that seems to be all of the confirmed sources of renown with the new faction Cartels of Undermine. Some of the ones we haven't seen yet are also those PvP quests, which was available for the 11.0 factions, and also I mentioned it before, but the Bountiful Coffers haven't actually been confirmed, but I feel fairly confident that one must be a thing, but maybe just in Season 2 it becomes available. So on the screen here you can see all the different ways that you're going to be able to get renown with this faction. It looks like we're getting around renown 8 or 9 if you use that Darkmoon Faire buff in this first week, and then it looks like around 3 to 4 renown levels per week after that, assuming all the numbers are correct, which sometimes can be a bit challenging without more testing. But yeah, this looks like how much we're going to be getting each week. It looks like it's actually not going to take that long to get this one maxed out if we manage to do all of these things. However, what may take a while longer is getting all of those 4 cartels we spoke about up to Exalted. As I explained before, you will have to choose one of the cartels each week, and this then opens world quests in the Undermine with them, all giving reputation towards that cartel alongside the renown for the main faction, the Cartels of Undermine. The main sources of reputation with the Cartels of Undermine will also give reputation with the specific cartel you've chosen. Those shipping and handling quests and the scrap quests give 1,000 reputation each to your chosen cartel, totaling 3,000 per week as well for your chosen cartel. World quests, of course, give more reputation than you get renown as well, so it is going to increase the reputation with the cartel, the specific cartels, faster than you're going to get renown. The side gigs will also give 100 reputation per quest, but these are set and not like your chosen cartel, so you'll just gradually get a little bit for all the cartels when you're doing those side gigs. One thing that doesn't give both Cartels of Undermine renown and your chosen cartel reputation is the C.H.E.T List, which is unlocked at renown 13 of the Cartels of Undermine. Basically, you can get a list from a machine within the Intercontinental Hotel upstairs, and this list will have some tasks on it. When you complete them, you will get Valor Stones. After completing enough, the list becomes a completed list. I think it's after you complete 4 tasks. And then once you have that completed list, you can hand that list in for 500 reputation with your chosen cartel at their kind of main base where the quartermaster is, what I showed at the beginning of the video. Okay guys, and that is everything. As always, thank you so much for sticking with me. I'm hoping to get a bunch more out. I've got lots more in the works as usual, but just very busy. So this one in particular I would love to get out earlier. Just wanted to give a big shout out to the All the Things Discord as well. I'm always asking questions in there, and those guys are super helpful when I don't have time to go and test things myself, and they have a lot of the answers. So that's really helpful. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, subscribe for more. There is more coming. Peace.